Hi and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther with you to celebrate the full moon for October 17th, 2024. A full moon. There are a lot of special things going on with it and the heavens and for this particular day. So I decided, much like what I did in the similar spirit of what I did for the 8/8 Lionsgate portal, there I just pulled out all of the cards that had to do with 8 or the sun. In this case, I went to all of the decks that seem to apply and pull out all of the cards that have some kind of representation of the moon, preferably the full moon, but also the crescent moon or various phases of it. So as you can see, when I pull the camera back, it turned out that that meant about 54 cards. So I'm going to keep pulling back a bit so you can see it and the overall spread. So again, just went to any of the cards that seem to have any kind of new moon depiction on them. And there are a few cards kind of underneath some of the top cards here, so there's even more than the 54. What was interesting though is that as I laid this whole spread out, it kept wanting to set up in number combinations of 9s. So, the heart of this whole layout, is these two rows, and those are 18 cards or 9. So again, harkening back to the tarot card depiction for the moon, the number that goes along with it is 18 or 9. And then as I did the whole thing, obviously, as I said, it came out to be a 54, which is also another multiple of 9. So that was very interesting, because even though the full moon is on the 17th, or an 8, the 9s kept coming up pretty loud and clear, which does signify completion. So that is very fitting. Some people do kind of full moon rituals, and there's some great examples online for that of different channels that are doing that. For me, it's just more like light a candle and we'll go over these cards. But if you are interested in other kind of rituals that people do, have a look around. Some people write down a gratitude list and then either, put it up on some kind of altar they've made, or burn it, or some people can bury it in the sand. There are all kinds of things that you can do if you want to go that way with it. But again, for me, it's just about lighting some candles and showing some cards and just getting into kind of that moon vibe and energy. Now, I do want to bring up right off at the top of this that, a lot of people have different feelings and imageries and notions about the moon, and that's fine. This is about, connecting in with whatever feels right for you. For me, I know I've never kind of had any kind of resonance with the moon. For me, it's felt very detached and like it really doesn't even belong in our sphere near the earth. As I stood, in a driveway looking up as a young child, I remember looking up and going, that doesn't belong here. Like, how is it possible that that's even there? And it's all seeming desolate of life and barren and austere, and it's all like pockmarked, like something took shots at it. And and yet we're here so close to it, because I knew inherently, intuitively, it was close to us, closer than I think that is said. And how is it so close relative to the earth? And the earth doesn't look like that. There just seemed to be too much of a disparaging picture there going on. So I never trusted that the moon felt even real, but I didn't know why. Now, of course, along came in 1977 the Star Wars A New Hope movie, which we have the famous quote in there by Obi-Wan Kenobi. His character says, "That's no moon, it's a space station." And I believe that was a serious hint drop that indeed what we know as the moon could very well be an artificial construct, or a hologram overlay on an artificial construct, etc. For some people, know in their heart it's organic and it's living, and it's not that. So, again, it's not about one person is right and one is wrong. Whatever your belief is and your feeling it is about it, then that makes it real for you in your world. So we all have the right notion. It's just whatever your heart is telling you it is. So for me, though, if anybody wants to know or cares, I definitely support the notion that it's a hollow construct, and there's a lot that can be going on in there, and that we are in a spiritual warfare of sorts. And I do believe that a battle has been going on about who controls that thing. There was another movie more recently in 2022 called Moonfall that also shows it as being an artificial construct. I'll just leave it at there in case anybody's going to watch that movie. It is a bit of a cheesy movie, but I do believe they put some truth drops in there, hint drops of what might really be going on. And with all these movies, it's like partial truth in there, I think designed to activate some of us to really get thinking and questioning some things that we see going on in our world to help wake us up, quote unquote. Now, for those of you who align with the moon as the feminine energy, yes, we all know that it's got the famous reference Luna as the moon. I'll say it again though, but for me it just does not carry that at all, those feminine energies. But this is not to throw a wet blanket. This little reading, if we can call it that, we'll see what this even is. It's just kind of like a celebrating of the moon for, whatever it is. For me, it's just even not even masculine. It's just an it, it's just like a construct. So, but of course, a lot of poetry and things have been written about romancing romancing the idea of a more romantic view of the moon and, a feminine qualities of it. So in this kind of card spread, we'll call it a reading. I'm not really going to pull off any of my own intuitive, what do I want to say, intuitive phrases or, mentionings on this. I think I really am just going to cover the cards, kind of read what they might have to say, and possibly leave it at that. Before we get into it, though, I do just want to mention one more thing, and it's maybe a little challenge of the evening. For me, I went to look out at the moon, and predictably the skies are so cloudy or hazy, I can't see it. So I hope you can wherever you are. I'm going to try it again tomorrow night, see if I can see it. But whatever the case, and then we also have the new news, quote unquote, of there being a second moon. Even mainstream media is talking about that, and that's a huge question mark, isn't it? So how can it just be suddenly like, surprise, there's a second moon, and this hasn't been talked about in the many, many decades that I've lived on this planet? So I will add further, from my point of view, that quote-unquote second moon is very likely also some type of artificial construct, aka some type of craft. So I'll just leave it at that, because it's just kind of funny that here we have all these sophisticated telescopes, supposedly, including those in Arizona owned by the Vatican, and others that can really see far, supposedly, and yet no one thought to alert or let the whole public know that we might start to see a second moon. I just find it rather curious and pretty bizarre. So anyway, somebody knew this thing was coming in, and therefore, yeah, I don't think it's a planetary body, just saying, an organic one anyway. All right, one more thing. So what I wanted to get to is, if you're in a location where you cannot see the moon, like I cannot right now because of hazy or artificial, let's just say, things thrown into the sky, or weather conditions preventing it, clear view of it, or any view of it, I have a little challenge in case you're bored or just are curious-minded. I found out a lot, and I want to dig into it and research it more after I do this little reading. But my little challenge for you is to do a fun little internet search and look up the word, or look up the phrase, or type in the sentence that says, how many mare are there on the moon? Like, how many, list the number of names that begin with mare, are moon features, rather. Sorry, it's late and I'm kind of slow right now. List how many moon features that begin with the word mare are on the moon. And at first I saw 13, but I think there's a much more extensive list. So there's features that begin with mare. They call it low-lying basalt regions, but I think there's more to it. But mare is sea, or like water or ocean. So anyway, you might want to look at that, and then look at the namings of those things and why and what they mean. It just starts to open up a whole new world there, if you want to, take that as a little challenge or quote unquote homework assignment, right? Okay, but enough of all of that. Let's just get into the main kind of messages of this. After I pulled all of these cards, I looked at all of the companion books to each card and was just trying to see what one, because I'm not going to go through all 54 and read them from the companion books, but I was just looking to see if, okay, out of all of these 54 cards, which one of them just kind of really sums it all up, this whole thing for the energies or the mood of this particular moon. And actually I went through every book and nothing was just like singing for me. It's like, really, none of these seem to be jiving. So I thought, okay, nothing has to. I do have in mind to kind of just read the little first trio that comes up right there, and I'll read each of those cards kind of for an overall energies of this full moon. just according to how I'm, looking at it here with all these cards. And then as I pan around, I am gonna zoom in and kind of show you and move the camera slowly over each card just so you can see the beautiful imageries. And I will include in the description area below, I'll put in which decks are which, I'll list them all. I'll also list the little background ambient space noise going on by that artist on YouTube. And let's see, and I think that's about it. So let's just dig around in here, and I'll read the cards, or whatever's on the cards if I'm feeling it. I might mention something if it strikes me like something worth mentioning, but otherwise, at the very least, I'm going to be reading those 3 little trio cards up by the candles. And I am going to read, the one thing I will read from the book is going to be this beautiful card from the Moon Tarot card, number 18 there too, from this deck, Guide to the Mermaid Tarot, because it's kind of a nice tie-in to the idea of mare. They call them the Maria, because it's more than one mare, or mare it looks like, in English, for all of those ocean names on the moon. Okay, and that's going to be this card. So we'll read, I'm going to read that now. Instead of doing the initial trio like I was going to, pardon the camera's bouncy, I'm kind of leaning over. But that's this card, the moon. And I'm just going to zoom back out. Oops, turning fuzzy on me. So let me read this. Then I'll read the little trio up at the top, and then we'll just kind of go over each card, and then I'll wrap it up. Oh, actually, I should have done it this way. Okay, this is better because this is a full page. I forgot they have full page colors, colored images in this companion book, which is nice. Okay, so she's part in the water, part above. And then they have the write-up is here. So I'm going to read this off to the side. And I'm not going to focus on that card itself, but I'll just kind of aim down here, because these cards might not get as much attention anyway as we get through this. So let me read this. The moon. You may think that you know all about the siren and her song. You may even think that you know all there is to know about her story, but you may be wrong. Those who have been blessed with the gift of song belong to certain groups. There are healing sirens, dream sirens, warning sirens, and nightmare sirens, just to name a few. The healing sirens sing only under the light of the full moon. When they raise their voices across the ocean to the sky, they sing a healing chant, sending out a wave after wave of healing frequencies. These frequencies help with calming the world's tensions, restoring balance, and sending relief to those who are suffering. The full moon siren also does one other unique thing her fellow sirens do not. She calls lost souls home. All those who are lost at sea and wandering the waves she calls home with the vibration of her melody. All this happens in one night, the only night of the month when the moon is completely full. Now it says if the card is in upright position, which it is. Have you ever walked the shoreline under the full moon and watched as the moonbeams dance and sway within the rolling waves only to disappear once they hit shore? It's like watching a magical underwater light show. If you watch from a certain angle, the waves look alive. The truth is that they are simply answering the siren's song, spreading her energy and carrying her frequencies to all. Under the light of the moon, it looks so spectacular, yet what happens under the blanket of darkness looks very different from what happens in broad daylight. In the dark, we find more space for our imaginations to run wild, allowing us to lose all sense of perception and see things that would not be visible under the sun's intense rays. Now, it didn't come up reversed, but I still want to read the little segment here out of the book about the, if it were reversed, okay? Are you scared of the dark? Many people resist looking into the darkness, scared of what they might find, the sounds they hear. Noise behaves differently at night and can make you believe things that aren't true, which might be why you are currently hiding under the covers waiting for the light to return. The problem is that night falls every 24 hours, so you are eventually going to have to take a look around and see what exactly has you so spooked. And that's a very powerful message. Both are very beautiful. First one, very poetic, and the second one, and also great reminder about frequencies and sound. and the mystery and magic and healing capabilities and the ability of it to help bring life about and help like things even like plants grow. It said that the Native American cultures that you can sing to plants and it helps them thrive and grow. I have tested that out myself a little bit, and I know it does work. Anyway, aside from the nice melodies and the power of sound and how it can travel and heal and do so many things, too many to list, I like that part about facing the things in the darkness. And it is true. It's like one energy to just hide in those covers and let your mind run wild. And it's another just to fling those covers off and just face it and get emboldened, right? So that you can kind of at least have a chance at glimpsing or seeing the truth and, you know, becoming empowered as you face it. Yeah. So anyway, there are things that we imagine while we're under those covers. And yeah, there's sometimes very real things happening when we're under those covers. So there's no judgment there, like of when you can get to it to throw off those covers, so to speak, and face it in your own timing. And in the meantime, if you're under those covers, what do? You can really pray, right? And lift your energies up, raise those frequencies as much as you can, so that when you are ready to toss that cover off and face whatever might be there, you're already in a much better position to face it and conquer your fears, right? Okay, also, that happens a lot with children. They get scared of what might be going on in their room. And, you know, some of us, if you're more in touch with some of these things and have sensitivities, things spiritually, you know, there are very real things there sometimes that, you know, so especially children and people who haven't been too jaded by the world, let's just say, the 3D world. You're more in touch and you are more likely to see things. So a couple quick tips. If you've got little ones and they might be seeing things, maybe get one of those projector style night lights that you can plug it in the wall and aim this little image to the ceiling, one that makes them happy. And sometimes they have like animals and they have little, you know, things going on, or little fairies or princesses, whatever makes the child happy. And it illuminates the room just enough so that, you know, chances are if anything did want to kind of come through to disturb them from other dimensions or other places, they might not so much if there's light in the room. And anyway, it just makes the person feel better. That goes for adults too. I'm not going to lie. I have one whenever I can on. Also, it's good, especially keeping children in mind, to maybe have something at the bedside that can make noise, like I don't know, like a harmonica or something that can beat or tap, like a little drum or what do they call those things? Those little cymbal things you can wear on your fingers, just any number of little things that they might readily have available that they can make a noise with, because that also might jump and, you know, disturb whatever might be coming in from another dimension or through the veil. Might help, you know, with that sound, make it go away. Okay. So those are just a couple of things to maybe think about, because yes, there are things that go bump in the night that are due to our imagination. And yes, there are some very real things that also happen, and especially in the spiritual realm. So those are just a couple of things that might help assist if you don't want those things to happen. Those can help either keep them away or help make sure you're empowered enough to move it away yourself if you can. All right. Didn't expect to go there, but there you are. So now let's just read those trio cards up at the top, and then I'll go over kind of each card. And bear with me because this card spread turned out to be so expansive. I had to put it on the floor, and that means I have to sit on the floor and kind of move around. So it might not be that elegant, let's just say. So we'll see, okay? So pardon, big disclaimer on the camera work here. But give me a moment, and let me move into position. So as I say with my other readings, I do these as one takes, so I'm not going to splice and edit. It is what it is, so bear with me, and hopefully I don't fall down on top of this whole thing. All right, so let's just, you know what, I'm going to take these three, and before we do those, I'm going to hover over these cards. We have 27, or number 9, Full Moon Temple, Celebration, Peak, Transcendent Moment. Below it, we have number 5, the Relics of Lemuria, Fragments, Memory, Reclaiming. I'll show you that card in a minute. And then we have the Isle of Wonders, Revelation, Teaching, and Discovery. And again, these are just all cards where the moon was there somehow. So we got whether it's full moon or crescent depicted. And here's a nice one of Lemuria. So I love that moon in the background. Looks very ghost-like, but it's there. And then, like I said, we got the crescent moon. And actually, while I'm here, I'll just show you the rest of them. Let me lay these out. Then we have that moon in the background with the healing temple of the lunar light, number 19, or 10, or 1. Life cycles, energy, healing, communication. This is another beautiful card. Got the moon and the fairy beaming light to the flower. Number 17, or 8, fairy energy, growth, expansion, of flowering. It's actually beautiful to go with the energies of this moon. Here's another one, number 35 or 8, the pathway, direction, purpose, change. It's a gorgeous card as well. And if you'll notice, we've got a lot of water imagery with these moon cards. Again, kind of depicting emotions, and actually the actual mare, or ocean sea reference of the names on the moon itself, of the features. So there's some connection there with water. All right, 36-9, Temple of Dreams, Sacred Dreams, Prophecies, Dream Journeys. Beautiful cards. Okay, now I'll get to the 3 I was talking about, and then I'll come back up over these other rows if I can. Give me a moment. Actually, I'm going to lay them out here below. Do myself a favor here, and you too, so it's clear. All right, so the trio that kind of summed up, I felt like the most, the energies for what wanted to come through of this reading regarding the moon, are Raven, Bat, and Owl. And I'm going to go over each card individually. So there we have a couple of different moon phases, kind of a famous symbolism there. And the raven says, wise woman, a change is coming. Well, isn't that the truth? I think we feel it now more than ever, in particular with this moon, that some kind of big change is about to arrive. We're like on the eve of something big happening. And I think it's going to be good. I think we have a lot of revelations, real big things being revealed. You know, we always talk about the moon hides things. This kind of represents things being hidden, and kind of even some kind of high priestess energies there. And I think now that's all going to change pretty soon. And I think we'll start to be looking at the moon very differently. And when I say soon, it's always in quotes. Who knows? Could be anywhere within a year to a few years. But I think it's coming sooner than later. We're going to learn a lot more about the world we live in and everything far beyond us, and even within the earth. All right, here's another beautiful card, Bat. Listen up. You are working through deep soul patterns. Release any outdated beliefs that surface. And that's perfect for the full moon energy, to let things come up, to be released, right? Especially things that no longer serve. And I love that the energy in here is very happy with the peaches, you know, kind of peach color palette and pinks, and maybe a little bit of rose color, a little bit of touch of blush rose, maybe champagne rose. And that's kind of the imagery I'm getting. And little stars beyond. It's a very beautiful card. And actually, it reminds me of what I have in the background. I just kind of put a little footstool there. And I was feeling, even though I have one that's, sorry for the background stuff, but I have one that's actually navy blue, which would go more with the moon. But something said, no, put that one there, little ottoman. And it has the peach colors as well. So I think that was just my little affirmation that goes with this card down in the center. So again, main message there is to release any outdated beliefs that surface. And actually the card says listen up. And so the only thing that comes through for me on that, it's actually, I was talking to a friend recently. I forget what we were talking about. It was probably something deep. But anyway, what came up was that she was once told that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, and it's so that we can listen more than we speak. And so that might be an energy for you. I know I need it. I tend to speak more than I listen at times, but not for disrespect. It's just sometimes I'm just so enthusiastic about certain topics and just kind of want to spill it all what I know and get excited about it that I forget sometimes. Got to take it down a notch and do more listening. So anyway, that might be a little message for you. Or if you're the opposite and you listen more than you speak, then this might be a little call to come in. Don't be afraid to be in the spotlight. You know, kind of that moon there depicted reminds me of a spotlight. And speak up more than you listen, so others can gather around you like those little bats and listen to you, right? Don't be afraid to kind of take center stage. And what do we always say? It's just having a little bit of a balance of both. This is a good place to be with it. Okay, and now we have the owl. Beautiful depiction there. And it says, sight. Detach your emotions from situations that you cannot control. Okay, now sometimes that's easier said than done, but the way that owl is in glorious flight, looks just kind of like hovering, reminds me about the little envisioning technique where you get off of the game board and not slug it out in it on the game board, and rather you zoom out and fly up high and observe the whole situation, the whole game board from above. And that way you're very detached. You know it's just a game going on. You don't take things personally, and you can look at things objectively and more diplomatically. Also, you can just look at everybody involved as they're all kind of children of God type of thing. And it's kind of, in some cases, not your circus, not your monkeys. You know, just let them handle things. And what you can do when you're zoomed out of it and not in it, you can sometimes do far better for people in helping by just staying strong in and of your own power and your spiritual practices and things, and just keeping a more higher vibration, so that you can create some great energy to send down on those who might be in lower energies down in it, slugging it out, so to speak, on the actual game board itself, right? So anyway, I think just with this trio, it's very interesting. I think you can sum it up by saying, you know, a change is coming, so don't be afraid of it. We can face it. You know, keep balance through the whole time. And remember, don't take anything that starts to be revealed personally. Some of us might feel duped if we learn some pretty incredible things. Like how do we not know this our whole lives? You know, don't take it too hard. You're in the company of some other people who had no idea, and you know, don't take it too hard. Don't take it personally. And also in these times, it is spiritual warfare, and it's hard to know what each person's role is in this huge game we're in. So just remember to try to fly above and view things, you know, from the bigger picture, taking the higher road when you can. Obviously not being a doormat and standing up for yourself when you need to, but, you know, try more often than not to really observe things before maybe jumping in, you know, or speaking up. Just give some stuff like wait an extra beat before, you know, diving in perhaps. Okay. All right. That's all I want to say for now for that. Now I think I'll just go over each card slowly while we have this nice ambient music in the background, which is like a space theme. I forget what the title is, but again, I'll put it in the description area below. And then I'm just going to be quiet, only chiming in if I feel there's something to say, and just enjoy listening and looking at the images, and then I will sign off. And I'm going to try to move slow so nobody gets seasick. I will say one more thing about the backdrop. I did include my abalone shell there, the herbs burning with the little tea light, and there are lavender buds, and I think it's dragon's blood because I lost the label. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, which is just like a resin. Okay? All right, so here we go. Okay, everybody. That's an overview of all the moon cards or things hinting at the moon in there of the decks that I felt drawn to. And I am also going to read the back side of this one card because it does say moon specifically. Actually, I'll read two. I'm going to pull them out. We've got this one. And on the back side, let's see if it will focus. Actually, I'm going to read this one off camera. Okay. The moon represents feminine energy and enchantment. Its power can move all the tides on earth, and it can also affect our moods and abilities. These can be times of rest and times of movement. Keep a diary with the moon cycle to plan your time ahead. Affirmation: I work with the phases of the moon. And again, that's if the moon feels feminine to you. Actually, it could also be an it or masculine, whatever works for you. And since they mentioned the phases, I just want to come in on this card. It's a beautiful card showing the phases, really beautiful. Okay, then I think I'll read also the one coming from one of the dragon decks I have. The Silver Lunar Dragon bathes you in divine feminine light. Come into balance and practice peace, harmony, and cooperation. Expand your causal chakra. So again, they're associating that with the feminine, but that can just also be a feminine energy, divine feminine, or whatever works and clicks for you. The idea there too is just something about nurturing and that kind of feminine side of things. Okay, I think I'm just going to sum it up with that. There are a few more things I was going to pull out, but I think we've covered enough. And my apologies for any of the bounciness or shakiness with the camera. It may not look like it, but I had to do quite a far reach holding the camera, and I don't have it on a selfie stick or anything. So I hope you're okay working with the little wobbles. And if there was a certain card that caught your particular attention and I didn't cover it, you can feel free to write me in the comments below, or if it won't post, you can email me on the email that I put down there, and I can put it in a community post. I can take a picture and snap a picture of the description too from the companion book if you like. Okay, well, I think that's it for now. I wish everybody a very happy full moon, and hopefully you can go catch it and see it with your own eyes outside. And otherwise, read up on it. Again, maybe look into that whole naming convention of why so many things start off with M-A-R-E, mare, and enjoy what you find. If you find out anything really interesting, feel free to also put it in the comments below or shoot me an email. All right, well, that's it for now. Tremendous peace and love to all. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.